What's up, guys? Jason, DLT Trading, here with my good friend Matt Martin, Vehement Knives.
What's happening, gang?
So we are live down here at Blade Show. We're going to be dropping some of Matt's brand new Foreman
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I got one in hand right now.
Saturday, noon Eastern, correct?
Yep.
We've got 15 of them down here. 8 that are in the custom finish that you did for Blade Show.
Yeah, we did a very limited number just for the show this year.
Two-tone finish, correct?
Yep.
We also have these on the website, so if you're not down here in Atlanta at Blade Show, you can still participate. Go to the DLT website, DLT drops in the upper left-hand corner. You'll see the drop page for your products. We also have a Blade Show landing page. Those drops would also be on there. So we've got, if you're here in Atlanta, we've got the Blade Show configuration. We've also got 7 that are inline configuration. They would be satin tiger lips and then the satin finish.
Okay.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about the Foreman, what the knife was designed for, kind of the genesis of how it came about, why somebody might be interested in owning one of them.
Yeah, so the Foreman's actually, it's an old design of ours. We had designed this probably 2015 plus or minus, 2014, 2015. And the reason it got its name is I had sold one of the original custom variants to a good friend and customer of ours, and he happened to be a construction worker in the state of New York. And he was a foreman, that's where the name came from. And after him carrying it, this gentleman carried it for so long, we actually went through 3 sheaths. Like, he used and abused it, and he kept kind of lauding its praises. And we wanted to introduce something to our production line that was a little bit thinner, a little bit more wieldy, kind of in contrast to the brute force of the grunt, in an EDC size. We wanted something a little bit lighter weight and a little bit slimmer, but still really capable. So that's what we did, and we came out with the Foreman. It's our lightest, thinnest EDC to date, but still very capable.
Absolutely. A little bit of history on the gentleman that kind of was the genesis of the Foreman. The man is a very not only a hard worker in New York City, but a very avid knife collector that has a knife collection that is worth more than my house is beyond the shadow of any doubt, probably multiple times. And the fact that he carried it daily, I think, speaks volumes, right? Like, of all the knives that he has to pick from, this is the one that he's carrying and has for a number of years.
Yeah.
So that says something. I then got to see, didn't you make a custom for somebody, and then I saw that custom? Because I never saw the original one.
So I blanked out 3 of them back in the early 20-teens. I blanked out 3 of them. I'm going to say his name. It's Jimmy Mack. If you're in the knife circle, you guys know Jimmy Mack. I just want to give him a shout out on this. I made one for Jimmy Mack, and then I finished one later on, basically, and that's how the custom started coming together as the pre-production.
So then I saw the one of those through social media, and I told Matt, I said, hey, make me another one. So the one that you made for me, I think you then made that one, right?
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't one of, So he made me one, and I was like, man, I love this thing. It's got to go into production. So the things I like about it, nice and slim, easy to EDC, easy to carry, nice price point. These things start, I believe, at about, $310, $315?
They're about. That's going to be the opening price point on these. And that was a conscious decision, to be honest. I mean, we saw that the economy was kind of getting a little funky, and we had released larger knives in the past, and we thought that it would be important to release something small, approachable from a price perspective, and usable. Like, in my mind, it's a reputation builder because it doesn't have to sit on a shelf. It can ride very comfortably on your hip and get used every day.
Right. So I think this is, if you've heard of Vehement Knives or you haven't heard of Vehement Knives, but you like high quality stuff, this is a great entry model, right?
Totally.
It is something that you can carry daily. The price point doesn't break the bank. For those of you that don't know, Matt's wife, Jenna, is the sheath maker, so you not only get a world-class knife, you get a world-class sheath.
Made in-house, that's right.
Or as I like to tell people, because Jenna's so nice, when you buy this awesome sheath, you also get a knife in it.
And it's all right, I guess. Yeah.
So they're both really, all kidding aside, great quality on both. But I've always said that a really cool, high-quality knife should come with a really awesome sheath. Yours checks that box and really does.
Thank you.
So some of the smaller things that maybe people that aren't familiar with Vehement Knives, I can feel them, I can see them. Talk about some of the small things maybe that people viewing back at home that can't put their hands on or haven't put their hands on Vehement. What are some of the things that are different?
Well, we don't make knives for Instagram. We make knives for users. And so when you hold one of our knives, there's little nuances that we hope that you pick up on and appreciate. For instance, this, even like our finger choil, the forward finger choil on here, on every one of them is radiused and polished. So it's really kind of buttery smooth. We take a lot of time and a lot of effort, well, I take a lot of time and a lot of effort finishing these guys out. So there's no gaps, no protrusions, no shadow boxing. I mean, they're finished as one piece. And it is, we even break, using a 600 grit slack belt, I break the edges up here on the corners so you don't have that razor sharp spine that gives you pressure cuts. So everything needs to be kind of have a positive tactile feel. Like when you hold it, it should be secure but really comfortable.
So for me, the one small thing that you touched on, but it's huge, is the rounding.
Well, it makes
this
a difference.
thing is so comfortable. And quite honestly, that these are broke slightly, I didn't even know that you did
Good.
that.
Yeah.
But it makes sense when I put my thumb there that you don't get that razor sharp.
That's right.
So those small things that really separate, the men from the boys, but yet you're kind of at a price point at this particular configuration, $360, I believe $310 opening price point, of more pedestrian knives, maybe that are not as refined, right, and don't have quite as many of the touches and little...
Well, the maker doesn't have the same neuroses that I have. So, I mean, it's an obsession thing. Like, it's not going to leave until I'm like, hey, this is a little bit elevated.
Man, and that is no joke. I literally saw this knucklehead in his shop take a knife that I told him, I'll buy it, because he said it wasn't good enough to sell. I said, I'll buy it, and he threw it in the dumpster in front of me. He wouldn't even sell me the knife. So either he doesn't like money or he's just a crazy perfectionist. Right. I'm not sure which.
I think they go hand in hand.
I was thinking maybe it's both. Maybe it's both. He's also known for his tiger lips finish. This is a satin tiger lips. Really cool finish on his blades. It's become one of your kind of hallmarks, I think, when people see that.
It has, yeah, and it was really kind of surprising. I wish the name was more clever. It's just what we called it in the shop, this apocalyptic, tiger stripe finish, but it approximates the Vietnam era tiger stripe, camouflage patterns. Yep. And since we brought this on, we had it exclusively for a number of years, but now a number of other makers have picked it up, which is a huge honor to me. Like, I've taught them all how to do it, and so it was a weird thing that we didn't know was going to take off the way it did, but it's kind of cool, I guess, to be known for one thing in the knife world, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely. It isn't what I think of. When I think of Vehement Knives, I think of your almost borderline crazy level of perfectionism, but it's why I personally own a good number of your knives.
Yeah.
That perfectionism, that never wanting to settle for second best, never saying good enough, never saying, hey, we need money, let's get these out the door. It's all about the product first. That's what I think about. And oh yeah, the blade finishes are cool too. But
Right.
If you're thinking about a Vehement knife, if it's on your radar, the reason that you buy one is the crazy level of attention to detail.
Oh, thanks, Jason.
So technically, your wording, you say these are mid-tech knives.
These are mid-techs, yes.
Now, mid-techs mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Mid-techs to me can mean Jason wants to start his own knife company. I contract Acme Knife Manufacturing to make me quote-unquote mid-techs. These knives arrive in big totes. I put them in smaller boxes. Maybe I have sheaths made for them. And I say, Toon Knives are doing these mid-techs.
Boy, do you have Acme's number? Because I could really go for something easy like that, where I just put it in a box.
You got to talk to the Roadrunner or the Coyote.
Yeah, right.
So that's not how you do things, though, right? And I think it's a conversation that I've had it here at the show already today, and certainly with our online folks back home. They think that that's what you're doing, or maybe these are built and you're just sharpening them, because that's another way that mid-techs are done, where they're kind of assembled. You sharpen
These are all
them.
great ideas.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a hell of a lot easier,
Right.
but I know you wouldn't sleep at night and you wouldn't put your name on it. That's not how you do things. I mean,
No.
You don't have a shop with a water jet, CNC machines cutting out micarta. Instead, you have a third party that water jets, they do some flat surface grinding.
Yep.
They cut out your micarta, and then your shop of how many people are putting these together and sharpening them?
Well, you're looking at the entire staff right now.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's
people
me. Yeah.
people sometimes are like, well, if I buy a mid-tech, how much of that did Matt do? Well, with these Foreman, he did all of it. He's the only guy in the shop. And these are not knives that are pre-built somewhere that he's just sharpening. They are knives that are components, right? Basically,
the tubes, for instance, the flared tubes that are through here right now, every one of those is hand turned on a manual lathe that I have from 1981. And so every single one, then it goes through a deburring process, that I have set up. And we take the unfinished components that we receive from our supplier. We put everything together. We apply all the finishes. We face it. It's just me. I'm not going to lie. I just say we. But yeah, it's just me. I face all the scales, assemble the whole thing, and then it goes through a sharpening process while the girls are making the sheaths upstairs. Yeah.
So literally, Matt's DNA is all over these knives. I mean, he is assembling them. He is finishing them. He is sharpening them. Hell, he's probably putting them in the boxes. So. For a quote-unquote mid-tech, they are about as close to a custom as you're going to get.
I guess, and I mean, these are hand-assembled, hand-finished knives, and by the maker and designer. It's the only way that we can bridge the gap between our, natural supply issues of like a full 100% sole authorship knife and the time that takes and the money that it would cost to be able to put something out at a reasonable volume. I mean, there's not tens of thousands of these in the world, but at a reasonable volume for our humble shop, we can put out enough at a reasonable price so that people can get their first Vehement experience or maybe their 11th Vehement experience and have something that they can enjoy and use, leaving me time to make investment grade knives on the bench.
The way I look at it, a good friend of both of ours, Les George, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember exactly how Les put it, but a customer had challenged him a little bit on making his folders that he's employing a CNC mill, he's employing a water jet, he's using these high dollar tools to help make his folders, and that he should be making them with a bandsaw, cutting out blades with a bandsaw, hand grinding everything on a slat belt grinder. And we all know Les is a super talented knife maker, one of my favorites. And Les's reply was, I could do that for you. I could literally make it with a bandsaw and sander and the whole 9 yards, but your $500 knife would be a $2,000 knife. And it wouldn't be any better, right? It wouldn't be any better. In fact, it might be not quite as good, but probably about the same.
Yep.
Because he's a perfectionist too, so it'd probably be as good. But that's the way I look at it. By you having access to somebody that can get you some parts, you're getting the benefit of a custom of yours, same fit, finish, sharpness, quality, awesome sheath in a little higher production, a little lower price point.
That's
so
right.
It's a real win for everybody. The guys that are in the Vehement camp, they're all going to buy these already. Those of you watching the DLT channel that aren't familiar with Vehement Knives, when we start getting more of these in and do larger drops, I encourage you to give them a try and give them a try. Everything you buy at DLT has a 14-day money-back guarantee.
And everything we put out of the shop has a lifetime guarantee.
So if you want to try one and you get it and you say, hey, this isn't for me, stick it in a box, fire it back to us. I don't expect we get many back, though, because a picture on the website is one thing, but putting these in hand, whole nother level.
Just hoping. Yeah.
And it's a pleasure, Matt. a pleasure.
Yeah.
Too.
Thanks,
as
buddy.
always. And again, tomorrow, 12 o'clock Eastern for the drop here live at Blade Show, as well as back home on the DLT website. Thanks for watching, guys.